Evening, my name is Jia Jing, Year 1, majoring in Mechanical Engineering, and I'm running for position for Finance Director. One of the reasons why I'm running for this position is due to my experience as a treasurer for the B-Block Committee. I've enjoyed doing work that is related to finance. Furthermore, I've enjoyed Eusoff Hall for the past year and I really like the environment we have here. I would like to be a part of making Eusoff Hall a better place. Therefore, I've decided to run for Finance Director to improve the processes of reimbursement, as well as to improve Eusoff Hall as a whole as part of the JCRC team. I would like to explain what I aim to implement in order to improve the processes of reimbursement. After interacting with people around the hall, I came to a realization that one of the problems they have is that the process of reimbursement is very long. And the root of this problem is usually due to the bouncing of forms from the finance committee and the treasurer itself. Because the forms are not complete, the wrong forms are used. So for the past years, committee heads and some of the treasurers were called for briefing regarding the process of reimbursement. So instead of just briefing, I proposed to hold a workshop for all the treasurers so that they can have hands-on experience on how to fill in the forms. With this receipt, then which form you need to fill in and what are the details that you should take note when you are doing the reimbursement forms. So this is to ensure that the treasurers are aware of the required processes and procedures in order to reimburse their spendings. Besides that, another problem of late reimbursement is due to late submission of receipts and claim forms. It's logical that reimbursement will be late if they hand in their receipts late. So, before I propose anything, I would like to introduce the committee that's directly under the Finance Director, which is the Finance Committee. So, the members are attached to several committees such that the committees will submit the forms to them and to check it before they pass it to a Finance Director. So back to my point, one of the problems is late submissions. Therefore, I would like to propose that Finance Committee members to be aware of the events from the committee under them, or another way to do it is to have the financial committee attached to a committee that they are already in, so that they are able to remind the committee to send in their forms as soon as possible, which will definitely shorten the time taken for reimbursement. Now, I would like to explain the procedure of reimbursement to you. Firstly, forms will be submitted to the Finance Committee, which will then send to the Finance Director. I know this is all very technical, so bear with me. Then after that, the Finance Director will send the forms to the Hall Office, which will be later sent to the OFS for reimbursement. So, there are instances when forms are written from OFS as there are errors on the form, which will delay the reimbursement for weeks. So it's important to check the forms very carefully before sending them to the office. As a treasurer in the B-Block Committee, I am responsible for work that is assigned to me. Forms will be done at most 2 days after the receipts are given to me, as I think that efficiency is of utmost importance. Besides that, as a typical Virgo, I'm a perfectionist. I'll check the forms meticulously before sending them to a Finance Committee. If elected as Finance Director, I will make use of my OCD habits and ensure that forms will be meticulously checked before sending them to the Hall Office to prevent any delays in the reimbursement process. Furthermore, we are all aware that the current Finance Director, Jasmine, has been very efficient in settling reimbursement issues. Therefore, if elected, I would like to uphold her efficiency as a Finance Director such that the process of reimbursement will be as swift and efficient as possible. I understand that the need for fast and quick money reimbursement is important. As previously mentioned, there are 3 parts to getting your money back. The Finance Director is able to control the process of filling out the relevant forms, sending it to the office, and returning the reimbursements to the relevant committees after OFS has given them the money. Although the processes within OFS is not within my control, I promise that if elected as Finance Director, I will do my best to improve on what is within my control so as to serve the Eusoff community better. Thank you.
Because you mentioned something about the workshop, you want to hold a workshop for those people to fill out the forms and stuff. Because during that period of time, right, our hall calendar is quite packed, especially for the com heads and the treasurers. So you may not find time for people to actually come down for a few hours to fill in forms. So if that doesn't happen, right, do you have any alternative ways for them to remember how to fill their forms properly?
Okay. One thing is, right, the workshop will be as good as the briefing. The time taken, right, will be slightly longer than the briefing. But if that doesn't work, another way to do it is probably set out a guidebook. So it's not something very, it's just like, if you are trying to reimburse this kind of receipts, which form you should use. If you are trying to reimburse for suppers, these are the forms you need. These are the attendance sheets you need. And then if you want to submit for, let's say, DP and other stuff, these are the things you need for it. Yeah, just give them a guidebook so that they can refer to it when they don't understand or not unsure of anything. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Chern, year 2 Econs. Okay, actually, I heard that you have plans to speed up the whole process of the reimbursement and stuff. But another issue that I think many of us here face is that if you're in a corp, right, that has big events that you have to handle, most of the time you have to fork out big sum of money first. Even though the process can be speed up, but some of us might have to spend 1K plus for t-shirts, 2K plus for food, and like personally I was in EHOP and SMC, so these two comps really took out a lot of my money. So what do you think you can do to help resolve this problem, or maybe even propose to OFS?
I understand there's a procedure that's called cash advancement, that you can get money first before doing anything. So, but because you can only have one committee having cash advancement at one time. So probably is just to apply earlier, because it takes about a month for OFS to give us the money before you want to spend it on your events and all, correct? So I think I'll propose to set up as in it's not a system, but to make sure everyone who needs the cash advancement to be aware that who is going next, so you can plan everything earlier. For example, if you are going for EHOP, right? If you want to buy stuff for EHOP, you could one thing is you can plan it earlier, then so that you can get the cash advancement first. Then the other comps can come in after they get the cash advancement. You get a point? Yeah. So it's like a queuing system just to make sure everyone knows who is queuing first, then to make it more efficient.
So we are year 2. Okay, sorry, just to correct you, the cash advance thing, from my understanding, it's 2 committees at one time, and for every form you submit, it's capped on $2,000. So I think one thing that we face from EHOP is that because it's during the vacation, so the thing is that for cash advance, what we heard from Busang was that accounts haven't been closed yet. So like accounts for SPT and another committee I can't remember were left over from the previous academic year. And the thing is that if you don't talk about during the holiday period, you talk about during the academic year, where a lot of committees are having different events at the same time. And this cash advance issue is like how to say, like I think that cash advance 2 comps at one time is really is not enough, in the sense that so many committees are having events at the same time which need big sums of money, and even though they can invoice things for receipts above $600, but there's those things like $500, it's still money, yeah. So I was just wondering if there's any way you think, as in if you have any proposal to like alleviate this situation.
Okay, thank you for the question. Also that there's another type of reimbursement. So instead of, okay, there's one type of reimbursement is you pay for it already, you collect the receipts, you get a reimbursement. The other type is you get the invoice, you submit to the OFS as a
You invoice to how?
payment to supply. Yeah, so which is you don't pay it first, like after OFS has approved, they will pay it directly to the supplier itself. So maybe that can be the
That's what I said, above $600.
above $600. But the cash advancement, I think is a OFS, as in it's their procedure. So we can try to talk to them, but I don't think we have a lot of control about it. Sorry.
Okay, for the cash advance, right? I don't know why they said 2 committees at one go last time, but then when I take over, they only allow 1 committee at one time. Yeah, so now it's only 1 committee at one time. Probably because if they have 2 committees, then the FD can regulate like who go first. But then the thing with this is that 1 committee will feel that their money will take very long to come, like why? So now we do it 1 committee at one time. Yeah, and then for the payment to supplier, right? It was stated that 500 and above can invoice, but there are committees who invoice at 200 plus also. So I think now as long as they can provide an invoice and if you all have other amount of money that you want to pay, you all can try for the payment to supplier options. But then of course payment to supplier will take longer. So if there are no other stuff that you have to pay and it's only that let's say $300 plus, and I would think it would be better to pay that one if it's only one off, because reimbursement takes, and the reimbursement comes faster than payment to supplier. But if there's a lot of things that you have to pay, then even for small sums, then you can do payment to supplier as well. But of course with proper invoice format. If not, then you have to get back from the supplier, which takes a lot of time. Yeah.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Sorry, just to add on this point, actually, because I think this is a problem that a lot of companies are facing this year, and it's not really up to us. And this year, what we did was, after receiving the feedbacks from com heads after the second committee briefing, we actually talked to office and to explore the options of having petty cash account for committees, such that committees are able to use petty cash first to pay for the small amounts, or maybe a few $100s, instead of every time they will fork out their own money. But the petty cash account is a very tricky issue with regards to OFS and office, and it's very hard to deal with. So right now, no concrete plan for next year, how we can solve this problem, but it's definitely, there are people talking about it. Okay.
Sorry, can I add on to that as well? Okay, yeah, this is a problem that's very close to a lot of people's hearts, especially my own. Situation has gotten quite unbearable, especially when people forking out sums, 1K, 2K, 3K, not just 1 or 2 isolated incidents, but a whole bunch of people. I've been thinking about this for quite some time. I will, when things finally start getting the motion, I will look at increasing the upper limit for the cash advance. That's one, and then we'll see if we can find a way to distribute the cash. And secondly, I was thinking if there will be a way for us to make it possible for more comms to get a cash advance at one time. Okay, I think I will try to explore that option. Yeah, because really, as I've said, the situation is getting quite bad as of now. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, I'm Nathan, year 2 Mech Engineer. Okay, so actually after all the discussion about this, the petty cash and stuff like that, actually I got a suggestion. Why not we just, because you know that every year we are going to spend this amount of money for this comp, this amount of money for this comp. So why not the hall just get accumulate all this amount of money and keep in the hall like this kind of like petty fund, because we know that we are going to use it anyway, right? But then this one will be handled by you. Then after that, when the committee needs to use them, right, they just get from you to draw it out for them. I'm not sure about whether is there any whether the finance side in NUS, whether they will not be okay with it or not, but I'm just suggesting it. I'm thinking, what do you think about it? Am I clear?
Yeah, I see. Because it's a very on the book thing, so I'm not very sure about it. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think you can ask for a large sum of money before doing, as in before any events.
Okay, actually, I don't think you would know what to do because you haven't actually taken over it.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying to say if you have any ideas on whether we can push this forward, whether we can suggest this to OFS or something like that. Maybe Jasmine can.
Basically, they don't really have free hold or cash for us to hold because of fraud issues. Like they don't want people to be suspected for fraud or whatever, which is why they do everything via the whole account and do everything via claims. Yeah. But unless if you have a way to solve this or to prevent fraud issues, then we can like explore this option. But you have to promise them that there won't be this issue.
As in like that means the finance director, right? You'll be keeping track of all this money. That means all this money, right? Only be your account, right? Then after that, when the cops need to take it, right, they'll give you a receipt or invoice. Then you can just immediately take it out for them. I mean, there's accounting for it, right?
Okay. I think right now we're feeling like it's an open forum for finance discussion. So let's try and shift away from that because these are a lot of, I think for the floor, I should understand that there's a lot of technical issues here that are set up by OFS. From our side on the JCRC side, as far as Jasmine is concerned, there are certain rules that it's like that, it's so okay. Okay, so, but that's what we need this feedback for, and Jia Jing, of course, I think will take this into consideration. So, try not to flame anyone's on any side right now because finance is always a tough decision because it's something that trickles down from OFS. So to move away from that, my question to Jia Jing is that, finance aside, what do you think would be required of you on trying to contribute as a JCRC member as well? Because I heard a lot of motivation in terms of your experience in terms of being a treasurer in the B block and handling procedures. But I want to see maybe your motivations as to why step up in terms of being a JCRC member, and what can you contribute on the JCRC side?
Okay. So one of the reasons why I wanted to join the JCRC is that I'm finding a word. I can say admire the work that the JCRC are doing. The events they plan, like GL camps, gala night, it's definitely not easy for 10 people. As in, it's not an event that everyone will want to turn out. Because most of the time is we ask people, hey, come for the camp and everything, like something like this. And especially for gala night, I'm actually quite impressed that they put a lot of effort in it. And they really didn't ask for anything in return. So it's the passion that the JCRC is giving currently that motivates me to run for JCRC. Yeah, answer your question.